Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Sarah, and on this channel, I cover anti-MLM and scam commentary. So if that is your sort of thing, I would love for you to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and with that, let's get started. This one is a Facebook post from a rep from a company I believe is pronounced Beneve? Beneve? I don't know. I tried to look up the way it was pronounced and could not find it because no one really ever says it aloud. The post says, my also now skinny friend Kathleen, check her out too, sent me this from when we were at a business incentive together in Florida. Can you even? I don't care what anyone says. Being as big as a Buick never felt empowering to me. I'm not a body positivity fan. That is garbage. I hated it. It wasn't cutesy to not be able to walk without my thighs catching a fire, uncomfortable in my seatbelt or flying, out of breath walking upstairs or chasing kids, never felt remotely good in clothes or confident in my skin. My blood work was a mess and I was a stone's throw from full-blown diabetes. Everyone is different. If you have found peace in your chub, well, good on you. I never did. It spiraled me into depression, impacted my relationship with my husband. I felt ashamed as a poor example to my girls. Once my hormones and cortisol were compromised, it was straight hell on earth. Health is wealth, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I lost weight, balancing my hormones and blood sugar and metabolic change, not burpees. Praise God. I'm here to help. Comment ready for my protocol or a tailored approach for you. We can do this. Wow. This one really upsets me. To me, this post is just gross. It's like she's not even really just sharing her own personal story. It's like she's weaponizing it. Calling body positivity and what I assume she means like the body positivity movement garbage and then comparing herself to a Buick it's not just like self-deprecating, it's harmful. It reinforces stereotypes and shame instead of just like, I don't know, being a decent human. Body positivity is about pushing back against this stigma that people in larger bodies are less valuable or less deserving of love and respect. It's about making space for people to feel comfortable in their skin, no matter what their size is. Her dismissal of it as garbage completely misses the point about what the movement is. Instead of recognizing that people can have self-worth regardless of their size, I feel like she's weaponizing her own experience to basically shame anyone who doesn't see her ideal of beauty in the same way. Like the language is just like dripping in judgment, as if there's like no way that anyone in a larger body could feel happy or let alone worthy without having something that they want to change about themselves. Here's my thing. You can absolutely want to improve your health, but there's no excuse for talking like this. You can share your journey without directly or indirectly tearing other people down. To me, this kind of rhetoric is not inspiring in the least. It feels cruel. And the most enraging part to me is kind of like it's like wrapped up in this like tough love sort of attitude and is then being used to push her protocol. And it is a perfect example of how MLM reps weaponize insecurities to sell their products. When I read that, it doesn't feel like, hey, this is what worked for me. It's, you should feel as awful as I did and buy what I'm selling. The whole thing is infuriating. This one is a TikTok live from a rep in Farmasi. I actually came across this in a Bomb Party subreddit, which is a different MLM, but they were discussing this there, and it's a lot.
I'm fed up! Fed up! You want to know what it boils down to? Let me tell you something. People come in my lives, they don't even say, hey. Let me just go ahead and get this out there. They don't even say hey to me, but they come in here and they say, oh, I'm with such and such. I'm with this company too. I'm with this one. You know why they do that? Because they're poaching your people. They're hoping people will follow them. And people get mad at me because I address it. Well, honey, you ain't even said one dang word to me. Okay? Not even one word. Not even one word to me but that. And you don't like me for that?
So, I know that was a lot to start with, but I wanted to start there, then I'll give you some context. What we're seeing here is classic infighting in an MLM. So like that frustration, defensiveness in her tone, it honestly sort of makes sense when you know more about MLMs and the sort of environment that the reps are stuck in. It's like not like a normal workplace where teamwork is more often than not rewarded. Instead, it's like this constant pressure to recruit, to hit your rank, and keep your commission checks rolling in. And I say all of that, and I do not have the full background of what happened here. But from what I've gathered from this video and from doing some other digging, there was an issue between some reps in Farmasi, and this rep she's addressing it, and she is referencing her frustration, and this is referring to people poaching is the term she uses. But in a regular job, I just want to point out that like an issue like this would normally be handled internally, like maybe with human resources or management. But in MLMs, there's often like no full accountability or a team of people to address this sort of infighting. It's often on the individuals, it's on the reps, which can ramp up as we're seeing here and create this level of animosity that drives them to go on a public platform and be yelling without a lot of context for people like me or other viewers to be like, what is going on? And I know that this is like, whoa, we have a rep who is yelling. And that is definitely, I saw it and was like, this is interesting. What's going on here? But even in this short, I think it's like a 4-minute long clip that we're going to watch, she says a lot of things that even without the full picture, the full scope of what exactly is going on here between her and these other reps, she brings up points to me that really drive home the problematic nature and all of the things that they will market you into the business opportunity. So people that are recruiting you into the business, they will say it's about community and friendship. But then we see stuff like this. This video is showing the reality. I believe a lot of things like this go on behind the scenes. It's not super often that we see them laying it all out on the line on a public platform like TikTok, but I personally believe these kinds of things happen often. These companies are not about collaboration. They're built and it automatically, naturally creates some sort of rivalry. You are all trying to get customers. And if those customers become reps, then you've lost them as someone who's going to purchase the product. And it's just this endless cycle of rivalry. And I feel like this is sort of indirectly admitting that the MLM structure encourages this kind of drama.
Okay, you know what? That's how I feel on that. Right? Right?
Bring your name up.
And let me just go ahead on another one. Another thing that's been brought up. Everything that I talk about my team, about the friending thing that we have talked about, I've had teammates get into it with each other. Get into it with each other over one customer buying from this one, going to this one, going to this one, and causing drama in the team. You know what I said? Follow each other. Follow each other. You want to know the reason it's best not to friend? Because when you go to add people to your network, because we're in social media, we're in network marketing, you need to add people to your network, right? I mean, come on now. It's social media. If you're in network marketing or you're selling anything, the whole point is to grow. Duh. But you want to know what? It's best not to friend people in your own place. You want to know why? Because when you go to add friends, guess what? It's going to pull friends from the people you're friends with. And there you go. Drama City. Come on now. And you want to turn that around on me? I am yelling. I am raising my voice. Guess what? This is my life. This is my house. I want people to know that I mean business. You know? You see what it's doing? I got almost 700 in here.
That all right there is such a perfect example of how MLMs can take something as basic as just friending people, sending them a friend request, and it turning into a full-blown source of chaos. Like the idea of not wanting to connect with people within your own company, it's just like so backwards, especially for an industry that is constantly, relentlessly selling on it being a community. They're always saying, we're so supportive, we're a family. And I don't know if Farmasi directly does that. Actually, I have seen a few reps that really talk about how much they love their team and how they, can lean on them during different times. And I don't know what particular team this rep is on, but whoa! Instead of like working together, they have this like sense of, paranoia where everyone seems to be like side-eyeing each other over this worry of poaching. And she says like drama city, and that is exactly what seems to happen in so many MLMs. When your coworkers are also your competitors, things are going to get messy. The constant push to grow your network will overlap with your social circles. And instead of always seeing that as a good thing or a thing to make your job easier, this particular team within Farmasi is seeing that as a bad thing, it sounds like. It's like, no, we can't trust each other. We can't have that actual friend request because it may recommend your profile to other people. So all we can do is like follow each other, which I think is what she's saying. Like on Facebook, you can decide to add a friend or just follow them, because when you add them, it's going to say like you have a mutual. I think that's what she was getting at. This is kind of all why I wanted to cover this. MLMs make things like so unnecessarily complicated. Your customers can very easily turn into your competition, and then suddenly everyone is competing with everyone. It just feels like chaotic, and it's kind of no wonder why there is so much tension and so much drama. It's basically like built into the structure, and I just find it so interesting that this video is kind of showing it unfold publicly rather than what I assume goes on behind closed doors often. And beyond all of that, like just her tone in and of itself, like she is very clearly very angry, very upset. And I think that just shows how personal MLMs can be. It's not just a job. It like becomes their identity. And it's often why I think for them, for these reps, the stakes feel so high. Like everything feels so personal. I wish I had even deeper understanding of what exactly is going on in this particular situation within this MLM, but it just feels so like not a good choice, almost a little performative. And like I've seen things before of leaders and MLMs that will act this way as a way to like publicly assert their authority, even when you can very clearly tell they are very overwhelmed.
What? I know. And let me tell you, just like he said to me, I have to be a role model for people, an inspiration. Just like my word for this year is love, because love conquers anything. But I do not put up with bull crap. I will not tolerate it. And as soon as I put up my boundaries, I gave you, and you want to know what? Another thing that was said. Let me just go into this. Another thing that was said. I gave you a pay it forward order. Let me tell you something. So you can hit your little 18% that you hit at one time. And we're going to go there. You're not on my team anymore, okay? You're not on my team. You got fired. You got fired. You got terminated, okay? Got terminated, right?
Whew, okay, so her tone really is shifting and we're starting to get into some specifics of the actual problem, I feel like she's kind of juggling with the pressure of being a leader and like maintaining her team and then defending against whatever accusations or whatever is going on. And that isn't normal workplace stress. It is a very clear reflection of how MLMs entangle personal relationships with your business.
Okay. With that being said, you said I rubbed it in your face. I never mentioned a word about it. Let's tell the truth. I didn't mention a word about it until maybe a few weeks ago because you guys continued on. Just like the one we bought all of her grandkids bicycles and stuff. I'm not like that. I don't rub stuff in people's faces. But you have kicked me and you keep going. You won't stop. It's been going since October 1st. You've been making videos. You've been doing all your things. Both of you guys.
Okay, that's where it cuts off. And like I said, I didn't capture this TikTok live. Someone on Reddit did, and then they shared it there. So I wish that I could see what she was going to continue on and say. But it definitely feels like she's very clearly hurt by all this drama. I don't know the full story. I don't know. And I'm not here to like pick a side, but it just really shows these personal conflicts, these things that go on in MLMs that would not normally go on in a traditional workplace. MLMs thrive on this culture of like us versus them. In most cases, that would be reps and like not reps, people who are not in the company, which makes disagreements like this kind of hit that much harder because it is about the people within the system. Like the constant turnover, the infighting, it's all part of the structure of the business. And I will say that the rep she mentioned, I'm not sure if she mentioned the other one, but based on some digging that I did, she's had an issue with one main rep, but also another one who I think, based on what I saw, have since jumped to a different MLM. When she says that you were terminated, I couldn't tell if she meant you were terminated from her particular team in the company or if Farmasi stepped in and they terminated them. But they are on to a new MLM and are shilling those products. And it just feels like when things become too toxic in one MLM, reps will often just jump to another. And that makes me think that they're probably in this endless loop of stress, of competition, of burnout. And what really stands out to me is the amount of energy that the rep in the TikTok live video is putting into all of this. I personally think the best thing would be to like step away, but in MLMs and in general too, it's hard to not respond or to like admit failure or whatever it might be. I'm not saying that that's what she needs to do because I don't know the full story, but it's just like, it's really hard to watch. And I hope that things can get resolved. This one is an Instagram story from a rep from Plexus.
Hey friends, I hope y'all had a wonderful day. I look terrible, just ignore me, but I got home to a package and I just was thinking that if you are accepting flaws in your wellness as being normal, you don't have to. And just because you have felt a certain way for a certain amount of time does not mean it's normal. Common does not equal normal. And I say that to say I, almost over 2 years ago, was very inflamed. I was having intense sugar cravings to the point that I was having multiple bowls of cereal at night because I just felt so hungry. I had to eat the house down. I was hungry all the time, no matter if I had just had a meal. About an hour later, I was hungry again. I had absolutely zero energy, multiple naps a day, never felt rested. I could sleep for 12 hours, woke up tired, always tired, to the point where I was getting lab work done thinking something was wrong with my thyroid, hormones, something. No, nothing was wrong. My labs were normal. So then I was like, well then what is it?
All right, starting with her mention of common does not equal normal, it sounds clever, but in this context, I feel like it's really misleading. And I feel that way because, of course, if this video is here, we know it's about to get into an MLM pitch. Hunger, fatigue, sugar cravings, there could be a lot of reasons for having those sorts of symptoms. And I'm not trying to say that those things can't be a symptom of a greater issue. But again, in this context, it feels like she's kind of laying the groundwork or like planting a seed that this is a problem that you also may be having. And then, oh, how convenient. She has the solution. She has the fix. The leap to calling late night snacking or eating cereal as being associated with inflammation and or gut health, to me feels like a total leap. Eating sugary food could be from so many things, like lack of sleep or stress or just wanting a snack. It doesn't automatically mean that there's something wrong with your gut. And then there's the part about the lab results. And she says, my labs were normal, so then what is it? And that to me is where it felt like a really big red flag. And again, it's because, and we'll go through this as her video continues and as I give you more information, but based on her background, I find it really interesting that she thought she had, an underlying issue, got lab work done, the lab work came back normal, and it was almost like she didn't believe the results or didn't believe the doctors. And the reason that I feel like that's a red flag, that's a totally common thing. And I've been in that position before where it's like, but I know something's wrong. And I'm not trying to say that there isn't something, deeper going on with her or anyone else having these sorts of, I guess, symptoms. But in this context, when you're about to pitch an MLM product, that's where I'm like, something is up. Something is going on below the surface. And it's like she's trying to undermine medical advice or maybe undermine the doctor's testing for the goal of steering you towards her product. And the reason I find that extra alarming is because of her particular background. You can even see in like what she's wearing, you kind of get the vibe of like maybe that is an outfit that you would wear in a medical setting. And you would be right. On her Facebook page, it says that she is a DNP student and is training to be a healthcare professional. And I would expect that someone in that field would lean on evidence-based science. But instead, she's going to go on throughout this video providing vague and unproven claims about this MLM product. So to me, what it looks like is that she's using her medical education and background to add credibility to her sales pitch. And that really blurs the line of being helpful to being, in my opinion, manipulative.
I did not know the answer. And so I was looking for, answers. I was looking for something that could work, because even though you might be skeptical or you may not know something works, if it's natural and it's good for your body, no matter the outcome, I am a huge advocate for it. I'm not an...
Okay, that is where the logical fallacies start to pile up. She is equating natural with good for your body, which in my opinion feels like a false equivalence. Just because something is natural doesn't mean that it's safe or effective. This blanket endorsement of something being natural as being good for your body is, to me, not only unscientific, but it's irresponsible, especially coming from someone who has a medical background. And her statement of no matter the outcome is so concerning. It's essentially saying, buy this product even if it doesn't work, which is the opposite of how health interventions should happen.
Advocate for you sacrificing how you feel to achieve. And I just felt disgusting, honestly. It's the only way to put it. I just went on a trip of a lifetime to Italy, and I remember not even wanting pictures taken because of how I felt. And And so I did something about it. I was laying in this bed in my house, this house, one night, and I said, you know what? I'm doing this because I have seen too many people say it works. And if it works for them, it can work for me. And so I did it. And by golly, it worked. And it has worked for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of customers at this point, just like you. And I want you to know that it's not always your hormones, and it's not always your thyroid, and it's not always your stomach. It can be, and likely is, your gut microbiome. On the next slide, I'm going to keep it 100 times, but I'm going to say it again. Your microbiome is a battleground between good bacteria and bad bacteria. Bad bacteria comes from chemicals, food we eat, processed foods, sugars, fake sugars, all of these things that we process through our body. And then the good bacteria is really hard to come by. People that say eat yogurt, let me just tell you, that ain't enough. You could eat 17 gallons of yogurt. It's not enough good bacteria. The idea is good. It's not enough to do good. What is enough is this. And these numbers on this screen are the percentage and the amount of increase of that good bacteria by one of these drinks, because they are loaded with pre and probiotics, which are incredibly important. I know I sound like a broken record, but you have to address your gut health. I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you're doing. You have to address your gut health. If you are in any kind of health journey, wellness journey, you are sick, you're dealing with chronic illness, you have to address your gut health. Number one way, number one product on the market, patented, cannot be copied, cannot get it anywhere else. This drink right here, you drink it daily.
Okay, so I'm going to read what's on the screen, and then we are going to talk about it. It says, scientific study results. Just scientific study. One slim gut drink. Increased lactobacillus up to 365 times and bifidobacterium up to 290 times. I hope I pronounced those right. Increased Akkermansia bacteria in the gut up to 250 times, which positively impacts the disrupted metabolism associated with being overweight. Of course, there's no source, there's no link, there's no way for us to learn more. So, of course, I had to go digging because it's the new hobby of ours, isn't it? Anytime one of these companies talks about some scientific study, they don't ever really present it in an easy to find or easy to look into fashion. So I did look it up, and what I found is that these claims do come from Plexus's product page for this particular product. And according to them themselves, this information comes from in vitro studies. In vitro means that the studies were done in a lab outside of a living organism. That is a big deal because results of something and how they work in a petri dish doesn't always translate to how it's going to work in a human body. And again, this is what really gets me, is that she's presenting this as someone with a medical and science background. I feel like of anyone, she should know the difference between lab results and real world evidence. A medical professional, or even just someone who's training to be one, should understand that throwing out those numbers without that disclaimer of it being an in vitro study is really misleading and really concerning. And if the claims were solid, wouldn't you show the study? Or Plexus, wouldn't you link to the study? I can't find it. All I can see is the little disclosure saying that it was an in vitro study. Instead, like usual, it's just numbers and little bits of information without much context. And that feels like a marketing spin rather than science.
I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you're doing. You have to address your gut health. If you are in any kind of health journey, wellness journey, you are sick, you're dealing with chronic illness, you have to address your gut health. Number one way, number one product on the market, patented, cannot be copied, cannot get it anywhere else. This drink right here, you drink it daily, twice a day.
It's the number one product on the market? Number one based on what? Who's deciding that? And there's like, again, no context, no ranking, no data, they just say these things. And I'm like, are you just assuming no one's going to double check you? Because I'm here to do that. And then the whole, it's patented, it can't be copied thing. What is up with these MLMs and talking about patents? A patent just, and I'm glad that she said it, because then she maybe is more aware than other reps have been in the past. If it's patented, it just means that it can't be copied. It does not mean it works. It means the company owns the formula, and that's basically it. And then she mentions the drink it daily, twice a day, and then like, that's it. That's the pitch. No explanation. No further details, just twice a day, daily, get it done. For someone with a healthcare background, it feels like we would maybe be given more information as to why, like dosage, things like that. But instead, it's just like, buy and try this expensive thing and trust me. It just doesn't feel like it's about helping people. It's about making it sound like this product is so essential that you just feel like you need to buy it.
And behind that, my second favorite is my energy drink. I just got 3 of these in the mail because I must have them to clear my head of fog, to give myself vitamins and minerals first thing in the morning, give me energy that lasts all day long. If you can't tell, I'm super passionate about natural wellness because I see too many people every single day coming in with Crohn's and ulcers and terrible, terrible gut issues and overweight and just depression and anxiety. And y'all, all of these things have pieces of your gut involved. And no prescription is going to fix that. No prescription is going to focus on your gut microbiome and your gut flora. No prescription does that. And I am here coming from the medical field, getting my degree. And I'm here to tell you, no prescription does it. There's a time and there's a place, and I'm an advocate for that if needed. But if not, if you can take natural supplements to restore your body to balance, to homeostasis, that is the goal.
All right, quote, no prescription does that. And I am here coming from the medical field, getting my degree, and I'm here to tell you that no prescription does that. She's using her position as a healthcare student to completely dismiss legitimate medical treatments and make it sound like her supplements are the only way to fix whatever balance or homeostasis that she's vaguely referencing. And according to her own Facebook profile, she's a Sapphire ambassador for Plexus and then a DNP student in nurse anesthesia practice. And to me, that sounds really impressive. And to just briefly discuss Plexus, as you can likely already assume, Plexus is an MLM, and related to her title of being a Sapphire ambassador, those titles aren't about expertise. They're just about recruitment. And Sapphire ambassador is one of the higher ranks, meaning she has likely recruited a lot of people under her who are likely building teams below them. So that title is not how much she knows about health. It's about how well she can sell these products or sell the dream of success with the business opportunity. And the Sapphire rank requires what looks to be like a massive downline, like thousands of points spread across multiple levels. And just like the translation of that is that she's not just selling these products, she's actively building a network of people around her. And those people all contribute to her rank and her income. And of course, like MLMs always do, it's not just about her personal sales. It's the sales and recruitment of all the other people in her downline. And I say all of that because I think it gives even a deeper context of using that title and saying, like, I'm a Sapphire ambassador in this, I don't know, health company, gut health company. It sort of makes her sound like she's an expert in this field, but that title doesn't equate to any sort of expertise in the medical field, in the scientific field. It only reflects her ability to climb the MLM ladder. I say this because what I worry about is good people who maybe don't know about the predatory nature of MLMs may see that and may be like, wow, that seems impressive. That seems like you're high up in this company and you're telling me that I might need this supplement. You look like you have some knowledge of medicine, of science. I'm more likely to believe you. And that feels predatory. She's openly leaning into her medical background publicly on her Facebook page and on her Instagram channel, where she is sharing that background of health along with Plexus. And even in her bio, she links to her website that very predominantly shares a photo of her in scrubs. And I personally believe that that is a very cognizant choice. That is not subtle. It feels like, in my opinion, it is a deliberate attempt to blur the line between credible medical advice and a sales pitch. I worry that to the average person who doesn't know about multi-level marketing, hearing that someone is in the medical field, she has these visuals, make it sound like she is a qualified expert. But based on what I've seen, it looks like she's still a student. And I'm not trying to downplay that. That's incredible. I can't fathom how much education and stuff that you have to go through to even get to the point that she's at. But it doesn't mean you have the qualifications to be giving these broad statements about a supplement that people need or that prescriptions will not help them for this specific, I don't want to say ailment, but these specific symptoms that they may be having related to their gut health. She's sort of playing into that trust that people naturally may have towards healthcare providers, and she's using it to sell products. And honestly, this is just standard MLM playbook. Focus on health issues that most people, I wouldn't even call it a health, I don't really know, but focus on issues, late night snacking, sugar cravings, fatigue, etc. Focus on those things, then make people doubt their doctors or their lab results, and then swoop in with this miracle solution. So to kind of round this one out, at the end of the day, this isn't just an issue that I have with this particular product or this particular MLM. It's the bigger picture. It's the bigger problem here. Using a healthcare background to sell unproven MLM products greatly blurs the line between credibility and salesman. And it's done in a way here that I feel is really manipulative. It's just so frustrating because I really feel like this is preying on a very vulnerable population, someone who may be I'm out of ideas, I don't know what to do. And they agree to buy this very expensive, unproven product from an MLM. And I believe that they deserve real answers from a qualified health professional. And that's why I feel like this behavior needs to be called out, because I personally believe that it is very unethical. This is a Facebook post from a Scentsy rep, and I'm just going to read it. It says, "Who turns $99 into $750,000? Me, I did that. I went from digging for change on Fridays when I would have our one and only car so I could treat myself to a $1 fry and Coke at McDonald's, to that first paycheck you see in March 2012. In March 2012, it changed my life. It made me believe I could be and do more for my family than living paycheck to paycheck. I saw this number today and my eyes immediately welled up with tears, remembering how hard it was the day I decided to click that join button. But nothing worth having is easy. It's been a ton of work and a lot of sacrifice, but look at what we've done. I'm so glad I didn't quit when life got busy and hard and the weight of the world was heavy on my shoulders. We are just getting started, y'all. The future is so bright. It's only $20 to join this month. Let me show you how to make this happen for you and your family too. If I can do it, you can too. They make me tell you the results aren't typical, but typical isn't what we're going for here. I'm not, and neither are you." And then she has a screenshot and it says March 9th of 2012, $608.60. And then she has a screenshot, and this is the difference. Notice that there's no date. It says total pay, $767,531.53. All right. So of course we need to break this down and give it a little more scrutiny. She's claiming that her $99 starter kit turned into $767,531.53. And at first glance, that is whoa, that is a lot of money. But I want to take a closer look. So the numbers started in March of 2012, and now it's 2025. She did post this. This Facebook post is from January of 2025. So that's a difference of 13 years. And if you calculate that, that averages out to about $59,040 per year in gross income. But in an MLM, especially one like Scentsy, the expenses can add up quickly. Inventory, samples, marketing materials, shipping, website fees, events, etc. And once you factor those things in, the take-home pay is likely even less than that approximately $59,000, especially for what could be a full-time job commitment. And she pitches it as this, if I can do it, you can do it too. And I do want to give her credit. She does disclose that the results aren't typical, even though she kind of immediately makes a joke right after. But I do want to say that that is a good thing, and I'm very glad that a lot of reps in a lot of different companies have started to do this, because most people in MLMs don't make this kind of money, or they don't make any money at all, and many lose money. And in fact, Scentsy's own income disclosure statement shows that a majority of consultants make very little. In 2023, consultants who were active for the entire year, which is on here as Group 1, earned an average annual commission of $1,191.48 and a median commission of $324.65. And it's important that we focus on the median because it will give us that middle number. So when you arrange all of the amounts that reps have made in a line, we can pick the middle amount. Versus when you look at the average, you can have those higher numbers and that will pull up the average. We kind of talked about this in a Monat video that I did. I will link that here if you want to go and kind of learn more about the importance of when we're looking at these income disclosure statements, the difference of how the companies will word things and the kind of things that you can look for if you're interested in this sort of thing, to look for to see the actual numbers you can assume that reps are making in these companies. And for those who joined or left during the year that are in Group 2 here, the numbers were even lower. There is an average commission of $179.31 and a median of just $58.01. So there that is. Most Scentsy reps are not making that much, and plenty more are likely losing money when we factor all of those expenses in. So big income claims like the one we read, they seem impressive at first, but they rarely reflect the reality of MLMs. And when you give it some scrutiny, some, critical thinking rather than just looking at it at face value, which is what I hope to do and aim to show people, is that you have to look at these things and be critical about them. Because when you scratch the surface, the numbers just don't really hold up. This next one is from a Monat rep.
You know what I can't stand more than anything? When people say, must be nice. Yeah, it is nice. And it was really freaking hard to work for. So when you want to stop being lazy, because when someone says, must be nice, all that is an indicator of the fact that they're not willing to put in the work for the things that are nice to them. So let me just put this out there, this little PSA. I never looked at anyone and thought, must be nice. I looked at them and I was like, damn, what are they doing that I need to do? I was inspired. I was motivated. I was driven. I was excited. It made me want to work. It made me want to earn that. It made me want to go for that. So if you are someone who is sitting on the other side, watching anyone successful, thinking, must be nice, the first thing that you need to do if you ever want to have what is nice is get over that and go get to work.
This is exactly the kind of speech that I would expect from someone who is at the tippy top of their MLM. Just completely detached from the reality of the people that are struggling in the very system that she is in. Just on a very basic level, saying it must be nice isn't always just about someone being lazy or criticism of something else. It could be just like a shorthand way of saying, I can't afford that, or I can't achieve that because the system is stacked against me. Because in this MLM context, this is even worse. Most people in Monat and MLMs in general lose money. We know that. The FTC has shown that time and time again. Their own income disclosure statement shows that. People in these companies are working hard. They are hustling. They're not seeing results because of the way the system is structured. It is just so peak privilege to ignore the reality that people in MLMs aren't failing because they're lazy or unmotivated. Sure, hard work can play a role, but when the system is rigged, effort alone is not enough. No amount of hustle can overcome the fact that the vast majority of participants will never reach the top, no matter how much work they put in. And what really, really gets me is that success in MLMs is always framed as being about hard work, like luck and timing just have nothing to do with it. Because let's be real, most top earners don't just grind their way to the top. They joined early, which makes it a lot easier to build a downline. It's not all about hustle. It's about getting in at the right time and then benefiting from all the other people that you roped into it. That is not something that you can just work harder to achieve. It's just the way that the system and the structure is built. And this kind of messaging, it really, really upsets me to think of how that must come across to someone who is in Monat or MLMs in general and how they must feel hearing that when they are struggling. It puts all of this blame on them, likely making them feel like failures for not hitting those same unrealistic results. And that feels like classic MLM manipulation, convincing people that the problem is their lack of effort, not the fact that the odds are heavily stacked against them. And that keeps people stuck in this cycle of self-doubt where they will likely pour more time, more energy, more money into something that was never set up for them to succeed. And I also don't want to ignore the irony here. To me, it feels like she's praising herself for being inspired and motivated while she is directly benefiting from the losses of the people beneath her in the hierarchy. So yeah, must be nice. Must be nice to sit at the top and ignore all the people that you're profiting from. And with that, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really do love making these. If you see any MLM fails on social media, you can take a screenshot or save the content down, leave a little context in the text box, and submit that information to me in a Google form that I link to in these video descriptions. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!